Jessica Martinez sat in her car in the grocery store parking lot, staring at the screen of her phone. The notification glowed in the darkness: insufficient funds. Transaction declined. It was just groceries. $43. She couldn't even buy food. Her hands were shaking as she gripped the steering wheel. Through the windshield, she could see families walking out with their carts full, laughing, living normal lives. Lives where a declined card wasn't a catastrophe. She was 32 years old, had a college degree, worked 50 hours a week as a middle school teacher, and she couldn't afford eggs and bread. The number haunted her every single day: $60,247. That was how much she owed. Credit cards, student loans, a car loan she never should have taken. The number grew every month, no matter how hard she worked. Interest piled on top of interest. Minimum payments that barely touched the principal. Jessica closed her eyes and felt the familiar tightness in her chest. The anxiety had become her constant companion. It woke her up at 3 a.m. It sat with her at lunch. It whispered in her ear during parent-teacher conferences: "You're a failure. You'll never get out of this." She had stopped answering calls from unknown numbers. The collection agencies were relentless. She had stopped checking her mail because every envelope felt like another punch to the gut. Tonight, sitting in that parking lot with an empty stomach and an emptier bank account, Jessica did something she hadn't done in months. She cried. Not the silent tears she had mastered. This was different. This was the kind of crying that comes from a place so deep, it feels like your soul is breaking. Her whole body shook with sobs she had been holding back for years. "I can't do this anymore," she whispered to no one. "I can't keep living like this." But what Jessica didn't know, what she couldn't possibly know in that moment of absolute despair, was that this breaking point was actually her beginning. Sometimes, you have to fall completely apart before you can rebuild yourself into something stronger. 3 years earlier, Jessica's life had looked completely different. She had just graduated with her master's degree in education. She was engaged to her college sweetheart, Marcus. She had her dream job lined up at a prestigious private school. Everything was falling into place exactly as she had planned. She remembered the day she signed her first teaching contract. Her mother had taken her out to celebrate at her favorite restaurant. They had ordered champagne even though her mom rarely drank. They had talked about the wedding, about the future, about how proud her father would have been if he were still alive. Jessica had felt invincible. She was 29, educated, ambitious, and in love. The world was full of possibility. She didn't worry about the student loans. Everyone had those, right? She would pay them off gradually. Her salary would be good. Marcus was finishing his MBA. Together, they would build a beautiful life. She didn't worry about the credit card she opened to buy furniture for their new apartment. Or the second one she used for wedding expenses. It was an investment in their future. She didn't worry when Marcus insisted they needed a nicer car. "We're professionals now," he had said. "We need to look the part." The monthly payment seemed manageable at the time. Back then, Jessica went to happy hours with colleagues. She bought nice clothes. She got her hair done every 6 weeks. She took weekend trips. She lived the life she thought she was supposed to live. She remembered feeling excited when she checked her bank account. There was always money coming in. She felt successful. She felt like she had made it. On weekends, she and Marcus would walk through open houses in nice neighborhoods, planning their future. In 5 years, Marcus would say, "We'll have a place like this." Jessica believed him. She believed in the plan. She believed everything would work out because she had done everything right. Good grades, good school, good job. That was the formula, wasn't it? She had no idea how quickly everything could unravel. The first crack appeared 6 months before the wedding. Marcus came home one evening with a look on his face she had never seen before. He sat down at their kitchen table and said 4 words that changed everything: "I met someone else." Jessica remembered standing there, holding a wooden spoon, tomato sauce for dinner still simmering on the stove. The words didn't make sense at first. She just stared at him. "What?" "I'm sorry, Jess. I didn't plan this. It just happened. I've been seeing someone from my program. I think I love her." The wedding was in 4 months. The deposits were paid. Non-refundable. $3,000 for the venue. $1,500 for the photographer. $800 for the cake. All on her credit card because Marcus had said his credit wasn't good enough. He moved out that weekend. Took his half of the furniture. Left his half of the debt. Jessica tried to cancel the wedding, but the contracts were ironclad. She lost almost all of the deposits. The dress she had already purchased hung in her closet like a ghost. Then came the second blow. The private school where she was supposed to teach had financial problems. Budget cuts. They eliminated several positions, including hers. This was 2 weeks after Marcus left. She scrambled to find another teaching position, but it was August. All the good jobs were taken. She ended up at an underfunded public school in a difficult neighborhood. The salary was $18,000 less than what she had been promised at the private school. $18,000 less. But her debt payments stayed the same. Then her car broke down. The transmission. $2,200 to fix. She didn't have it, so she put it on another credit card. Her apartment lease ended, and she couldn't afford to renew it alone. She moved into a tiny studio in a cheaper neighborhood. Even that stretched her budget. Within 6 months, Jessica went from planning a wedding and a bright future to eating ramen noodles alone in a studio apartment, wondering how her life had gone so wrong. The debt that had seemed manageable when there were 2 incomes became suffocating on one. And then the interest rates kicked in. Jessica tried everything she could think of to fix her situation. She took on a second job tutoring students after school. 3 evenings a week, she would drive to nice houses in suburbs she couldn't afford to live in and help wealthy kids with their homework. The extra $400 a month helped, but barely. After gas and taxes, it felt like she was working for nothing. She created a strict budget. She cut everything she could. No more coffee shops. No more eating out. No more new clothes. She canceled Netflix. She stopped seeing friends because she couldn't afford to go anywhere. She called her credit card companies begging for lower interest rates. Most of them said no. One lowered her rate by 2%, which saved her maybe $30 a month. It felt like trying to empty an ocean with a teaspoon. She went to a credit counseling service. The counselor looked at her numbers and gave her a sympathetic smile that made Jessica want to scream. "You need to increase your income or decrease your expenses significantly," the woman said, as if Jessica hadn't already thought of that. The counselor suggested bankruptcy. The word made Jessica feel sick. Bankruptcy meant failure. It meant 7 years of destroyed credit. It meant admitting she couldn't handle her life. "I can't," Jessica said. "There has to be another way." She tried debt consolidation, but she didn't qualify. Her credit score had already dropped too much. She looked for higher-paying jobs, but everything required experience she didn't have or credentials she couldn't afford to get. She sold everything she could. Her engagement ring. Her nice furniture. Her designer bags from when she had money. She made maybe $3,000 total, which disappeared into the debt like water into sand. Every month, she paid the minimums. Sometimes not even that. Late fees piled on. Interest compounded. The number grew instead of shrinking. She would sit at her kitchen table at midnight, calculator in hand, trying to figure out how to make the math work. It never did. There was always more month than money. Her mother offered to help, but Jessica knew her mom was living on a fixed income. She couldn't take money from her mother. Jessica felt trapped. Every door she tried was locked. Every solution led nowhere. She started having panic attacks. The first one happened in the school bathroom during lunch. She couldn't breathe. Her vision tunneled. She thought she was dying. A colleague found her and called for help. The school nurse took her vitals and told her it was anxiety. "You need to reduce your stress," she said. Jessica almost laughed. Reduce her stress? How? By magically making $60,000 appear. The breaking point came on a Tuesday in October. Jessica had been teaching for 2 years in the struggling school. She loved her students, but the job was draining in ways she hadn't anticipated. The pay was low, the resources were minimal, and she often bought supplies out of her own pocket, money she absolutely didn't have. That particular Tuesday started like any other terrible day. She woke up to an email from her landlord. Rent was increasing by $150 next month. She couldn't afford her current rent, let alone an increase. During lunch, she got a call from the collection agency. They were threatening to garnish her wages. She hung up, hands shaking. After school, her car wouldn't start. The battery was dead. She had to call a tow truck and pay $85 she didn't have. She took an Uber home. Sat in her dark studio apartment because she was trying to save money on electricity. Opened her laptop and logged into her bank account. Balance, $12.47. Payday wasn't for another week. She had half a loaf of bread and some peanut butter. That was dinner. Jessica sat on her floor, back against the wall, and felt something inside her snap. She wasn't just tired. She was exhausted in her soul. Exhausted from fighting. Exhausted from trying. Exhausted from failing over and over again. She thought about her students. Bright kids with potential being failed by a system that didn't care. And here she was, their teacher, who couldn't even feed herself properly. She thought about her mother, who believed Jessica was doing fine because Jessica always lied and said everything was okay. She thought about Marcus, probably living his happy life with his new girlfriend, while she drowned in debt that was partially his fault. "I can't do this anymore," she said out loud to her empty apartment. "I don't know how to fix this. I've tried everything. I don't know what else to do." The silence that followed was suffocating. For the first time in her life, Jessica didn't have a plan. She didn't have hope. She didn't see a way forward. She was 32 years old and completely broken. That night, she couldn't sleep. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, feeling like she was drowning. Like the walls were closing in. Like she would live the rest of her life in this nightmare. At 3:17 a.m., she grabbed her phone, not to check her bank account or read another threatening email, but to search for something she couldn't even name. She just typed, "How to stop feeling hopeless." She didn't know it yet, but that search was about to change everything. Jessica scrolled through articles about depression and anxiety. Tips for better sleep. Breathing exercises. Nothing felt right. Then she saw a video title, "I was completely broken, then I changed my reality." Something about it made her click. Maybe because completely broken was exactly how she felt. The video was a woman, maybe 40 years old, sitting in a beautiful home office. She talked about being homeless at 35. About losing everything. About debt and despair. Jessica's attention sharpened. This woman understood. Then the woman said something that made Jessica pause the video. "I didn't change my reality by working harder. I tried that. It didn't work. I changed my reality by changing my frequency." Frequency? Jessica didn't know what that meant. She kept watching. The woman talked about something called the law of attraction. About energy. About the idea that your thoughts and feelings create your reality. Jessica's first thought was, "This is ridiculous." Her second thought was, "But what if it's not?" The woman said, "When you're drowning in debt, you think about debt constantly. You feel the anxiety, the fear, the shame. And that energy creates more situations that make you feel anxious, fearful, and ashamed. It's a cycle." Jessica felt seen in a way she hadn't felt in years. "The way out," the woman continued, "isn't to fight against debt. It's to align yourself with the energy of abundance. To feel what it feels like to be free before you're free. To change your internal frequency so the external world has no choice but to match it." It sounded like spiritual nonsense. But something in Jessica's chest loosened slightly. A tiny bit of curiosity pushed through the despair. She watched 3 more videos from the same woman. Then she searched "Law of Attraction Debt" and fell down a rabbit hole. Video after video. Story after story. People who claimed they had manifested money, opportunities, complete financial turnarounds. Part of her thought, "These people are delusional." But another part of her thought, "What do I have to lose?" At 5 a.m., still awake, Jessica found a video about gratitude. About how being grateful for what you have, even when you have very little, shifts your energy from lack to abundance. She looked around her tiny studio. What could she possibly be grateful for? Her mind felt blank at first. Then, slowly, things appeared. She had a roof over her head. She had a job. She had her health. She had students who loved her. She had a mother who cared. It wasn't much. But it was something. Jessica grabbed a notebook from her school bag. On the first page, she wrote, "Things I'm grateful for." She listed 5 things. Simple things. The fact that her body worked. That she had hot water. That there was food in her cabinet, even if it was just peanut butter. Writing them down made her cry, but it was a different kind of crying. Not despair. Something softer. Something that felt almost like relief. She didn't believe in the law of attraction yet. Not really. But she was desperate enough to try anything. The next morning, Jessica woke up after 2 hours of sleep, feeling both exhausted and strangely lighter. She went to work. Taught her classes. Ate her packed lunch of peanut butter sandwich. Came home. And instead of immediately spiraling into anxiety about money, she did something different. She watched more videos about manifestation. One video explained that the law of attraction isn't magic. It's about neural pathways. When you focus on something repeatedly, your brain starts to notice opportunities related to that thing. When you focus on debt and lack, you notice more reasons to feel anxious. When you focus on abundance and possibility, you notice more opportunities. That made sense to Jessica. It felt less woo-woo and more psychological. Another video talked about the reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information. When you decide you want a red car, suddenly you see red cars everywhere. They were always there, but your brain wasn't highlighting them. So if I focus on abundance, Jessica thought, my brain will start noticing opportunities for abundance. It was worth testing. But her skeptical mind fought back. You've tried everything. This won't work either. You're going to waste your time on some spiritual fantasy instead of working extra hours or finding real solutions. Jessica sat with that thought. What were the real solutions she hadn't tried? She had worked herself to exhaustion. She had cut every expense. She had asked for help. Nothing had worked. Maybe, she thought, the problem wasn't that she hadn't tried hard enough. Maybe the problem was her approach. Every single day, she woke up thinking, I'm in debt. I'm trapped. I'm failing. What if she woke up thinking something different? She felt ridiculous even considering it. But the curiosity was there, small but persistent. That evening, she searched for how to practice law of attraction for money. One article suggested visualization. Imagine having the money you want. Feel the relief, the freedom, the peace. Do this every day for at least 10 minutes. Jessica tried it. She closed her eyes and imagined her bank account with $5,000 in it. Just $5,000. Not millions. Just enough to breathe. At first, her mind rejected it. This is fake. This isn't real. You're lying to yourself. But she pushed through. She imagined checking her account and seeing that number. She imagined the feeling in her chest, the exhale of relief. The smile on her face. The thought, I'm okay. I can pay my bills. I have enough. For 60 seconds, she felt it. Actually felt it. When she opened her eyes, reality crashed back. She was still in debt. Nothing had changed. But for 60 seconds, she had felt something other than dread. That was new. Jessica decided to commit to trying this for 30 days. She told herself, 30 days. If nothing changes, I'll know it doesn't work. But I have to actually try. She created a simple morning routine. Every day, before school, she would write 5 things she was grateful for. Visualize having $5,000 in her bank account for 5 minutes. Say affirmations out loud, even though they felt absurd. The affirmations were the hardest part. Standing in her bathroom mirror saying, I am financially abundant. Money flows to me easily. I am worthy of wealth, while being $60,000 in debt, felt like lying to herself. Her reflection stared back at her with dark circles under her eyes and doubt in her expression. But she said the words anyway. The first week was uncomfortable. Every time she tried to visualize abundance, her brain would interrupt, this is stupid. You're wasting time. You should be applying for more jobs. You should be working. The gratitude practice was easier. She could genuinely feel thankful for small things. The sunrise. Her students' laughter. A good cup of coffee. She also started paying attention to her thoughts throughout the day. She noticed how often she thought about debt. Constantly. It was like a radio station playing in the background of her mind all day long. You owe money. You're failing. You're trapped. You'll never get out. Every time she caught herself in that spiral, she would stop and think, what would someone who is financially free think right now? It felt forced. Fake. Like she was playing pretend. But she kept doing it. One evening, a week into her practice, she was at the grocery store. She had $30 to spend on food for the week. As she compared prices and added up items in her head, the familiar anxiety started to rise. Then she stopped. Took a breath. And thought, someone who is abundant doesn't panic at the grocery store. They trust that they have enough. She didn't suddenly have more money. But the panic lessened. Just a little. She checked out, and the total was $28.47. She had enough. See, she told herself. You always have enough. It was such a small moment. But it felt significant somehow. That night, she added to her gratitude list, I'm grateful I had enough money for groceries today. Not, I'm grateful I scraped together enough, or, I'm grateful I didn't overdraft. Just, I had enough. The shift in language was tiny. But Jessica was starting to understand that maybe this whole thing was about tiny shifts. Not massive overnight changes. Maybe transformation didn't happen in one dramatic moment. Maybe it happened in 1,000 small moments of choosing a different thought. On day 10 of Jessica's experiment, something small happened. She was at school during her planning period, grading papers in the teacher's lounge, when another teacher, Maria, sat down next to her. "Hey Jess, random question. Do you tutor? I have a neighbor who's looking for someone to help her daughter with English. She's willing to pay $50 an hour." Jessica's current tutoring rate was $25 an hour. Yes, Jessica said, trying to keep her voice normal. "I can do that." Maria texted her the contact information right there. Jessica reached out to the parent that evening. The parent wanted 3 sessions a week. That was $150 a week. $600 a month. When Jessica got off the phone, she sat very still. This wasn't life-changing money. She was still drowning in debt. But it was $600 more than she had last month. And the weird thing was, she hadn't been looking for this. She hadn't applied anywhere. It had just appeared. She thought about the law of attraction videos. About how opportunities show up when you change your frequency. This is just a coincidence, her logical mind said. But another part of her wondered, what if it wasn't? That night, during her visualization practice, she felt something different. A tiny flicker of belief. Not certainty. Just a small voice that said, maybe this could work. She wrote in her gratitude journal, "I'm grateful for unexpected opportunities. I'm grateful money is finding its way to me." 3 days later, another small thing happened. Jessica found a $20 bill in the pocket of a jacket she hadn't worn in months. It was her own money, obviously. She had just forgotten it was there. But instead of thinking, only $20, she thought, the universe is showing me that money is everywhere. Even in places I forgot about. She took that $20 and bought herself a nice meal. Not ramen. Not peanut butter. A real meal from a restaurant. The old Jessica would have felt guilty. You should save that. You should put it toward debt. The new Jessica thought, abundant people don't deprive themselves of everything. I deserve to enjoy a meal. It felt radical. Reckless, even. But that night, eating a warm burrito and drinking a real soda, Jessica felt something she hadn't felt in years, peace. For 30 minutes, she wasn't thinking about debt. She wasn't anxious about money. She was just present. And that felt like a miracle. The signs were small. A new tutoring client. A forgotten $20 bill. These weren't going to solve her massive debt problem. But they were signs that something was shifting. Jessica was starting to believe, just a little bit, that maybe the universe was listening. 2 weeks into her manifestation practice, Jessica made a decision. She was going to commit to this fully for 33 days. Not half-heartedly. Not skeptically. Fully. She had read somewhere that it takes 33 days to establish a new neural pathway. To actually rewire your brain. Okay, universe, she said out loud in her apartment one Saturday morning. I'm all in. For 33 days, I'm going to act like someone who is financially free. I'm going to think like her, feel like her, and trust that it's working. She knew she needed more structure. The morning routine was good, but she needed something to keep her consistent throughout the day. That's when she found the 33 Days Manifestation Journal online. It was exactly what she needed. A structured journal designed specifically for this process. Each day had prompts for gratitude, intentions, and tracking signs from the universe. She ordered it immediately. It was $27. The old Jessica would have agonized over spending $27. The new Jessica thought, this is an investment in changing my life. When the journal arrived 3 days later, she sat down and filled out the first page. Day 1 prompt: what does financial freedom look like for you? Be specific. Jessica wrote. Financial freedom means waking up without anxiety. It means checking my bank account and feeling calm instead of dread. It means paying my bills on time without stress. It means having $10,000 in savings so unexpected expenses don't destroy me. It means being debt-free. It means being able to help my students without worrying about my own rent. It means peace. She stared at what she had written. $10,000 in savings and zero debt felt impossible. The gap between her current reality and that vision was enormous. But the journal asked another question: how would the version of you who has financial freedom feel right now? Jessica closed her eyes. That version of her would feel light, confident, secure, generous, grateful. Could she feel those things now? Before the money came, it felt backward, like trying to put the cart before the horse. But the whole concept of manifestation was about feeling it first, then receiving it. Jessica took a deep breath and made a choice. I'm going to practice feeling financially free every single day for 33 days. Even if it feels fake. Even if it feels impossible. I'm going to practice it like a skill. She set an alarm on her phone for 6 a.m. every morning. Manifestation practice. She also decided to track every single time money came to her, no matter how small. Found a penny? That counts. Got a refund? That counts. Someone bought her coffee? That counts. She created a page in the journal called Evidence That Money Flows to Me. The first entry was the $150 per week from her new tutoring client. The second entry was the $20 she found in her jacket. She was determined to fill that page with more evidence. On day 1 of using the journal, Jessica wrote her gratitude list, set her intentions, and visualized her desired reality for 10 full minutes. Then she went to work. And for the first time in years, she walked into that school building without the heavy weight of financial doom pressing on her chest. She felt different. Lighter. Like she was carrying a secret. The secret was simple: she was becoming someone new. The first 7 days with the journal were both easier and harder than Jessica expected. The structure helped. Having specific prompts each day gave her clarity. She wasn't just vaguely thinking positive. She was actively directing her thoughts and energy. Day 2 prompt: list 10 things you're grateful for about your current financial situation. Jessica stared at that prompt for a long time. What was there to be grateful for when she was $60,000 in debt? But she pushed herself. I have a steady job with a regular paycheck. I have never been homeless. I have always found a way to survive. My debt taught me to be resourceful. I'm learning financial skills I never learned before. My struggle is making me stronger. I have opportunities to earn extra income through tutoring. I have a mother who would help me if I truly needed it. I have my health, which means I can work. I'm learning about manifestation, which could change my whole life. By the time she finished the list, she felt something shift. Her debt was still there, but it didn't feel quite as heavy. Day 3 was harder. The prompt was, write a letter from your future self who has achieved financial freedom. What does she want you to know? Jessica's hand hovered over the page. This felt silly. She was writing to herself. But she did it anyway. Dear Jessica, I know you're scared right now. I know the debt feels like a mountain you'll never climb. But I'm writing to you from the other side, and I want you to know, you did it. You're free. It didn't happen the way you thought it would. It didn't happen because you worked yourself to death. It happened because you changed your energy. You stopped fighting against the debt and started aligning with abundance. Keep going. Trust the process. Every day you practice gratitude and visualization, you're building a new reality. You can't see it yet, but it's forming. I'm so proud of you. Love, future Jessica. When she finished writing, she was crying. Days 4 through 7 followed a rhythm. Wake up. Write gratitude. Set intentions. Visualize. Go to work. Notice her thoughts throughout the day. Practice feeling abundant even when circumstances said otherwise. The hardest part was catching herself in negative thought spirals. She would be driving to work and think, I'll never get out of debt. Then she would stop and reframe, money is flowing to me in expected and unexpected ways. Over and over. All day long. It was exhausting. But by day 7, something interesting happened. She was at the grocery store again. Same $30 budget. But this time, she didn't feel anxious. She felt neutral. Like it was just shopping, not a survival mission. She picked up a box of pasta, and instead of calculating every penny with dread, she thought, I always have enough. And she did have enough. At checkout, the total was $29.12. As she walked to her car, she noticed she was smiling. That night, she wrote in her journal, today I went grocery shopping without anxiety. That's a miracle. Small shifts. But they were real. Week 2 hit Jessica with doubt. She had been practicing her manifestation routine every day. Writing in her journal. Visualizing. Affirming. Feeling abundant. But when she checked her bank account on day 14, the number was still terrifyingly low. When she looked at her credit card statements, the debt was still there. All $60,000 of it. Nothing had actually changed. She sat on her couch, journal in her lap, and felt the familiar despair creeping back in. This is stupid, she thought. I'm wasting my time. I should be working extra hours, not sitting here pretending I'm rich. She almost quit right there. But then she remembered something one of the videos had said, the external world is always the last thing to change. Your internal world changes first. Trust the process. Jessica didn't feel trusting. She felt frustrated. That day at school, during lunch, her colleague Sarah asked, Hey Jess, you seem different lately. Like, lighter. What's going on? Jessica hesitated. Should she tell Sarah she was practicing manifestation? That felt embarrassing. I've just been working on my mindset, she said carefully. Sarah laughed. Well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You seem happier. Happier. Jessica sat with that word. Was she happier? Financially, nothing had changed. But emotionally? Yes. She was waking up without immediate dread. She was falling asleep faster. She was laughing more with her students. Those were real changes, even if they weren't financial changes yet. Still, the doubt lingered. That evening, she opened her journal to the day 14 prompt. What resistance are you feeling? What is your fear telling you? Jessica wrote honestly. I'm scared this isn't working. I'm scared I'm wasting my time. I'm scared I'll still be in debt a year from now, and I'll realize I should have been doing something productive instead of this. I'm scared to hope because hoping hurts when nothing changes. The next prompt asked, what would you tell a friend who was feeling this way? Jessica paused, then wrote. I would tell her that 2 weeks isn't enough time to change years of financial patterns. I would tell her that the fact she feels different is proof something is working. I would tell her to keep going. She read her own words back to herself. Okay. She would keep going. That night, a friend from college texted her out of nowhere, Hey. Random, but I just got promoted and I'm cleaning out my closet. I have a bunch of professional clothes that might fit you. Want them? Jessica's first thought was to say no. Pride. But then she thought, abundant people receive. They don't block gifts. Yes, she texted back. Thank you. Her friend dropped off 2 bags of beautiful work clothes the next day. Clothes Jessica could never afford. Easily $500 worth of items. She tried them on. They fit perfectly. Jessica looked at herself in the mirror, wearing a blazer that probably cost $200 originally, and thought, the universe provides in unexpected ways. She added it to her evidence page in her journal, received $500 worth of clothes for free. Money didn't just come as cash. It came as resources. As things she didn't have to buy. The doubt was still there. But so was a growing sense that something was happening, even if she couldn't see the full picture yet. On day 18, something happened that Jessica couldn't explain away as coincidence. She was in her classroom after school, organizing supplies, when she got an email notification on her phone. The subject line, Contract Opportunity, Educational Content Creation. Jessica frowned. She hadn't applied for any content creation jobs. She opened the email. It was from an educational publishing company. They had found her LinkedIn profile, a profile she had set up years ago and forgotten about, and they were looking for teachers to write curriculum content for their new online platform. The pay, $75 per hour. Contract work. Flexible schedule. Approximately 10 to 15 hours per week available. Jessica read the email 3 times. This was $750 to $1,125 per week. On top of her teaching salary. On top of her tutoring. She hadn't applied. She hadn't even updated her LinkedIn in 2 years. They had found her. Her hands were shaking as she responded to the email expressing interest. Within 2 hours, she had a phone interview scheduled. Within 3 days, she had the contract. She started the following week. The first payment, $920 for her first week of work, hit her account 12 days later. Jessica stared at her bank account. For the first time in years, she saw a number that didn't make her want to cry. She immediately put $500 toward her highest interest credit card. Watching that balance drop, even slightly, felt like breathing for the first time in years. She wrote in her journal that night. I didn't look for this job. I didn't apply. It found me. How is that possible? I was just existing, practicing my manifestation routine, and an opportunity appeared out of nowhere. This is exactly what the law of attraction describes. I'm starting to believe this is real. She also wrote. I manifested an extra $3,600 to $4,500 per month. If I put all of it toward debt, I could be debt-free in less than 2 years. 2 years. That felt impossible 3 weeks ago. Jessica did the math over and over again, just to make sure it was real. Teaching salary, $3,200 per month, after taxes, tutoring, $600 per month, content creation, $3,600 per month, conservative estimate. Total monthly income, $7,400. Her expenses were around $2,800 per month. That left $4,600 per month to attack her debt. $60,000 divided by $4,600 equals 13 months. Just over a year. She could be completely debt-free in just over a year. Jessica sat on her floor and sobbed. But this time, it was relief. She had been drowning for so long. And now, suddenly, there was air. She called her mother. Mom, I got a contract job. I'm going to be okay. Her mother's voice cracked with emotion. Oh, honey. I'm so proud of you. I knew you'd figure it out. Jessica wanted to tell her it wasn't about figuring it out. It was about shifting her energy. About believing before seeing. About trusting the universe. But she just said, "Thank you, Mom. I love you." That night, Jessica added to her evidence page. The universe sent me a $75 per hour job I didn't even apply for. Money is flowing to me in unexpected ways. I am financially free. She wrote that last sentence, "I am financially free," and for the first time, it didn't feel like a lie. It felt like a truth she was stepping into. By day 25, Jessica's entire energy had transformed. She still had debt. The number was still significant. But it no longer controlled her. She woke up every morning and the first thought wasn't, "I'm trapped." It was, "I'm grateful." Her students noticed. One of them, a quiet girl named Aaliyah, stayed after class one day and said, "Ms. Martinez, you're different. You smile more now." Jessica's eyes welled up. "Thank you, Aaliyah. That means a lot." "Did something good happen?" Aaliyah asked. Jessica thought about it. Had something good happened? Not one big thing. 1,000 small things. "I changed the way I think," Jessica said. "And when I changed my thoughts, my life started to change too." Aaliyah nodded like that made perfect sense. Jessica's mother noticed too. During their weekly phone call, she said, "You sound lighter, Mija. I haven't heard you sound like this in years." "I feel lighter," Jessica admitted. "I'm not out of the woods yet, but I can see the path now. Before, it was just darkness. Now I can see where I'm going." Even her colleagues at school commented. Maria, the teacher who had connected her with the first tutoring client, pulled her aside one day. "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it," Maria said. "You're glowing." Jessica laughed. "I'm sleeping more than 3 hours a night. That probably helps." But it was more than sleep. It was deeper than that. Jessica had stopped living in constant fear. She had stopped checking her bank account 15 times a day with dread. She had stopped avoiding her mail. She had started believing, really believing, that she was going to be okay. More than okay. She was going to thrive. One Saturday, she went to a coffee shop. A real coffee shop. Ordered a latte. $5.50. The old Jessica would have calculated, that's $5.50 that could go toward debt. That's irresponsible. The new Jessica thought, I work hard. I deserve a nice coffee. And there is more than enough money for both joy and responsibility. She sat in that coffee shop, sipping her latte, working on her content creation project, and felt a profound sense of peace. This was what financial freedom felt like. Not having $1 million. Just having enough. And knowing more was always coming. That night, she wrote in her journal. Day 25. I am becoming the woman I visualized. I feel abundant. I feel worthy. I feel free. The debt is still there, but it doesn't own me anymore. I own my future. And my future is bright. She also wrote her intentions for the next phase. I intend to pay off $5,000 of debt per month. I intend to see my balance drop rapidly. I intend to receive unexpected money. I intend to feel financially secure. I intend to help others once I'm free. As she wrote those intentions, she felt them in her body. They weren't wishes. They were declarations. She was no longer asking the universe for help. She was claiming her abundance. There's a difference. And Jessica finally understood it. On day 28, Jessica's car broke down again. She was driving home from work when the engine made a terrible sound and the car just stopped. Right in the middle of the road. She managed to coast to the side, hazard lights on, and sat there in disbelief. "No," she said out loud. "No, no, no. Not now. Not when things are finally getting better." She called a tow truck. Got the car to a mechanic. Waited for the diagnosis. "Your engine has a major issue," the mechanic said. "It's going to be about $2,800 to fix." Jessica felt the old panic trying to surface. $2,800. That was almost an entire month of her teaching salary. The old Jessica would have spiraled. Would have cried. Would have thought, "See? Nothing ever works out. Just when you think you're getting ahead, something knocks you back down." But Jessica had been practicing a different way of thinking for 28 days. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and asked herself, how would the abundant version of me handle this? The answer came immediately. She would trust that the money is there. She would know that unexpected expenses are part of life, but they don't derail her. She would find a solution. Jessica opened her eyes. She had been putting extra money toward debt, but she still had $1,200 in her checking account from her recent content creation payment. She had her next tutoring payment coming in 2 days, $600. She had another content creation payment coming in a week, $900. She could cover this. It would mean not putting as much toward debt this month. But she could cover it. "Okay," she told the mechanic. "Fix it." When she got home that night, she sat with her journal. Day 28. The universe tested me today. My car broke down. $2,800 repair. The old me would have fallen apart. But today, I realized, I have the money. It's not convenient, but it's not a crisis. That's what financial freedom looks like. Having enough to handle life's surprises without breaking. She also wrote, "I'm grateful I had the money to fix my car. I'm grateful this happened now, when I can handle it, and not 6 months ago when it would have destroyed me. I'm grateful for the progress I've made." Then she did something that surprised herself. She affirmed, "The universe is bringing me $2,800 to replace what I spent on this car repair. Money flows to me easily and constantly." She didn't know how that money would come. But she trusted it would. 2 days later, she got an email from the publishing company. They were offering her an additional project, a rush job that needed to be completed in 2 weeks. It paid $3,200. Jessica stared at the email. $3,200. More than the car repair cost. She accepted immediately. When she told her mother about the car situation and the unexpected project, her mother said, "You're so lucky, Mija." Lucky. Jessica thought about that word. Was it luck? Or was it something else? She had been deliberately practicing abundance. Deliberately shifting her energy. Deliberately trusting. And the universe kept responding. "Yeah," Jessica said to her mother. "I'm really lucky." But in her heart, she knew, this wasn't luck. This was alignment. Day 33. The final day of her manifestation journal. Jessica woke up early, before her alarm. She made coffee and sat at her small kitchen table with the journal open in front of her. The final prompt, reflect on your journey. What has changed? What have you learned? Who have you become? Jessica stared at the blank page for a long time. 33 days ago, she had been sitting in a grocery store parking lot, crying because she couldn't afford food. She had been hopeless. Broken. Certain that her life would never get better. Today, she had 3 income streams. Today, Her debt was decreasing instead of growing. Today, she had $1,800 in her checking account, more than she'd had in years. Today, she felt peace. She started writing. 33 days ago, I was drowning. Today, I'm swimming. The water is still deep, but I know how to navigate it now. What changed? Everything. And nothing. My external circumstances have improved, I have more income, I'm paying off debt, I have a plan. But the real change is internal. I changed the way I think about money. I changed the way I think about myself. I changed my energy from lack to abundance. I learned that manifestation isn't about wishing. It's about becoming. I had to become the version of myself who is financially free before I could experience financial freedom. I learned that gratitude is the most powerful tool I have. When I focus on what I have instead of what I lack, more comes to me. I learned that the universe responds to my energy. When I vibrate at the frequency of abundance, abundance finds me. Who have I become? I've become someone who trusts herself. Someone who trusts the universe. Someone who knows that no matter what happens, she will be okay. I've become someone who doesn't live in fear anymore. I've become free. Jessica set down her pen. Tears were streaming down her face, but she was smiling. She looked at the evidence page in her journal. The page she had been filling with every instance of money or resources coming to her. $150 per week new tutoring client, $20 found in jacket, $500 worth of free clothes, $3,600 per month content creation job, $3,200 rush project refund from utility company, $47 friend paid for dinner, $30 found a $5 bill on the sidewalk, student's parent gave her homemade food, saved $20 on groceries, free professional development course, value $300. The list went on. Page after page of evidence that money and abundance were flowing to her constantly. When she added it all up, over $8,000 in additional income or resources had come to her in 33 days. $8,000. She had manifested $8,000 while working a full-time job and practicing abundance for less than an hour each day. Jessica closed the journal and pressed it to her chest. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." She didn't know exactly who she was thanking. The universe. God. Her own higher self. It didn't matter. What mattered was this: she had changed her life by changing her mind. And if she could do it in 33 days, what could she do in a year? In 5 years? The debt that had felt like a life sentence now felt like a temporary obstacle. One she was already overcoming. Jessica stood up, walked to her window, and looked out at the morning sun. She was going to be okay. More than okay. She was going to be free. 6 months after completing her 33-day journal, Jessica sat in her apartment and did something she had been too afraid to do for years. She opened every single credit card statement. Every loan statement. Added up every balance. Total debt remaining, $22,450. She stared at that number in disbelief. 6 months ago, she owed $60,247. She had paid off $37,797 in 6 months. Almost $38,000. Gone. Jessica's hands were shaking. Not from fear this time. From joy. She had done it by consistently putting every extra dollar toward debt. Her teaching salary covered her basic expenses. Everything else, tutoring, content creation, the occasional unexpected payment, went straight to debt. But it wasn't just the money. It was the energy. She had maintained her manifestation practice even after the 33 days ended. Every morning, gratitude, visualization, affirmations. Every day, noticing abundance, trusting the process, feeling free. And the universe had kept delivering. 3 months into her journey, the publishing company offered her a permanent position as a senior curriculum developer. Salary, $72,000 per year. Double what she made as a teacher. She had cried when she got the offer. Then she had given her notice at the school. Leaving teaching was hard. She loved her students. But she couldn't pour from an empty cup anymore. And this new job would give her the financial stability to truly help people in other ways later. Her students threw her a surprise goodbye party. Aaliyah, the quiet girl who had noticed Jessica's transformation, gave her a card that said, "You taught me that you can change your life by changing your mind. Thank you, Ms. Martinez." Jessica kept that card on her desk. Now, sitting with her debt statements, she did the math for her new timeline. With her new salary, she could put $4,000 per month toward the remaining debt. $22,450 divided by $4,000 equals 5.6 months. 6 months. She could be completely debt-free in 6 months. 1 year total from when she started her manifestation practice. 1 year ago, she had been in a grocery store parking lot, unable to afford food, thinking her life was over. Now, she was months away from complete financial freedom. Jessica pulled out her journal, she had started a new one after the first 33 days, and wrote, "I manifested a $72,000 per year job. I manifested the ability to pay off $38,000 in 6 months. I manifested peace, clarity, and hope. The debt that controlled my life for years is almost gone. I am becoming the woman I visualized. I am free." That night, she called her mother. "Mom, I need to tell you something." "What is it, Mija?" "I was in really bad debt. Like, really bad. $60,000. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry." Her mother gasped. "Jessica. Wait. Let me finish. I was drowning. I couldn't see a way out. But then I found this practice called manifestation. And I know it sounds weird, but I started changing my thoughts. I started believing I could be free. And Mom, I've paid off almost $38,000 in 6 months. I have a new job. I'm going to be completely debt-free within a year." Her mother was silent for a long moment. Then she said, "I knew something had changed in you. You sounded different. Lighter. I'm so proud of you." "I wanted to tell you," Jessica said, tears streaming down her face. "I wanted you to know that when life feels impossible, it's not. You can change everything. You really can. You're going to help so many people with your story," her mother said softly. Jessica hadn't thought about that. But yes. Maybe that was the point of all this. Not just her own freedom, but showing others that freedom is possible. As Jessica's financial life transformed, everything else shifted too. Her health improved. The chronic tension headaches she'd had for years disappeared. The anxiety that had plagued her for so long softened into manageable moments instead of constant panic. She started sleeping through the night. Her energy returned. She started exercising again, something she hadn't had the mental or physical energy for when she was drowning in debt. Her relationships improved. She had been so consumed by financial stress that she had isolated herself from friends. Now, she reached out. Made plans. Laughed genuinely. She even started dating. Something she had told herself she couldn't do until she got her life together. His name was David. He was a graphic designer she met at a coffee shop. They talked about art and teaching and dreams. When he asked her out, she said yes without the usual voice in her head saying, "You don't deserve this." Because she did deserve it. She deserved joy. She deserved love. She deserved a full life. 3 months into dating, David noticed her manifestation journal on her coffee table. "What's this?" he asked. Jessica hesitated. Then she told him everything. The debt. The despair. The parking lot breakdown. The 33-day practice. The complete transformation. She waited for him to think she was crazy. Instead, he said, "That's incredible. You changed your entire life." "The law of attraction changed my life," Jessica corrected. "No," David said gently. "You changed your life. The law of attraction was the tool. But you did the work." Jessica sat with that. He was right. She had done the work. Every morning. Every visualization. Every moment of choosing a different thought. She had saved herself. But she had also received help. From the universe. From unexpected opportunities. From synchronicities that couldn't be explained. Maybe it was both. Her effort and the universe's support working together. Jessica also found herself naturally becoming more generous. When one of her former students reached out saying her family was struggling with rent, Jessica sent money. Not a huge amount, she was still paying off debt. But enough to help. "Pay it forward when you can," Jessica told her. She started mentoring other teachers who were struggling financially. Sharing what she had learned about manifestation, about mindset, about creating multiple income streams. One teacher she mentored manifested a $15,000 grant for her classroom within 3 weeks of starting a gratitude practice. Another teacher got promoted to administration, doubling her salary. Jessica watched these transformations and felt a deep sense of purpose. This was why she had gone through the struggle. So she could show others the way out. Her life had become about more than just her own freedom. It had become about collective abundance. She started a blog sharing her manifestation journey. Within 2 months, it had 5,000 readers. People from all over the world reached out thanking her for giving them hope. A woman from Australia wrote, "I was $80,000 in debt and ready to give up. Your story showed me it's possible. I started my own 33-day practice. Thank you for sharing your light." Jessica read messages like this and cried. Happy tears. Grateful tears. Her pain had become her purpose. Her struggle had become her strength. Her breakdown had become her breakthrough. And now, she was helping others break through too. 12 months after that night in the grocery store parking lot, Jessica made her final debt payment. She sat at her desk, logged into her bank account, and transferred $1,847.22 to her last remaining credit card. Then she watched the balance drop to $0. Zero. She was debt-free. Completely. Entirely. Free. Jessica stared at the screen for a long time. Then she closed her laptop, put her head in her hands, and sobbed. 12 months. 1 year. 365 days. She had gone from $60,247 in debt to zero. She had gone from $87 in her bank account to $8,500 in savings. She had gone from 1 income source to 3. She had gone from hopeless to free. The next morning, she woke up and did her usual manifestation practice. But this time, she wasn't visualizing being debt-free. She was celebrating it. Her gratitude list included, "I am grateful I am completely debt-free. I am grateful for my $72,000 salary. I am grateful for my savings account. I am grateful for the opportunities that keep flowing to me." Her life looked completely different now. She lived in a nicer apartment, not extravagant, but comfortable. She had furniture that wasn't secondhand. She had a car that was reliable. She had clothes that fit well and made her feel confident. But more than the material changes, she had internal peace. She checked her bank account with calm instead of dread. She made decisions from abundance instead of fear. She helped others without depleting herself. She was living proof that transformation is possible. Her mother visited one weekend. They went out to dinner, a nice restaurant, Jessica's treat. "I'm so proud of you, Mija," her mother said over dessert. "You've completely turned your life around." "I had to break completely before I could rebuild," Jessica said. "I thought my life was over that night in the parking lot. But it was actually beginning." "What are you going to do now?" her mother asked. "Now that you're free?" Jessica had been thinking about that a lot lately. "I want to help more people," she said. "I want to teach this. Not just manifestation, that's part of it. But the whole journey. From despair to freedom. I want to show people it's possible." 2 months later, Jessica launched an online course, From Debt to Freedom, a manifestation journey. She shared her exact process. The morning routine. The journal prompts. The mindset shifts. The practical strategies. Within a week, 200 people enrolled. Within a month, 1,000. The course brought in an additional $4,000 per month in passive income. Jessica stood in her apartment one evening, looking at her life, and felt overwhelming gratitude. This wasn't the life she had planned. It was better. Because it was a life she had consciously created. Not through force or struggle. Through alignment and trust. She was no longer the woman who cried in parking lots. She was the woman who showed others how to transform their lives. She was free. And she was just getting started. Jessica's transformation taught her lessons she would carry forever. The biggest lesson: you don't change your life by fighting against what you don't want. You change your life by aligning with what you do want. For years, she had been fighting against debt. Resisting it. Hating it. Fearing it. And that energy kept her trapped in the very thing she was fighting against. When she shifted her energy to abundance, when she started feeling free before she was free, everything changed. The opportunities came. The money flowed. The doors opened. But it required one critical thing: consistency. Jessica practiced abundance every single day for 33 days. Then she kept going. It became her lifestyle, not just a temporary fix. Every morning, gratitude, visualization, affirmations. Every day, noticing abundance, choosing better thoughts, trusting the process. That's what made the difference. Not one day of positive thinking. Not one affirmation. But 33 days of rewiring her brain. Of building new neural pathways. Of becoming a different person. The tool that helped her stay consistent. The 33 Days Manifestation Journal. It gave her structure when she felt lost. It gave her prompts when she didn't know what to write. It gave her evidence of her progress when doubt crept in. That journal became her sacred space. The place where she planted energetic seeds every single day. And those seeds grew into the life she's living now. If you're listening to this story and you relate to where Jessica was, drowning in debt, suffocated by anxiety, unable to see a way forward, please hear this. You can change your life. You really can. Not through more hustle. Not through more stress. Not through more force. Through alignment. Through changing your energy. Through becoming the version of yourself who already has what you desire. Jessica started with just 33 days. 33 days of showing up for herself. Of practicing abundance even when her bank account said otherwise. Of trusting even when circumstances hadn't changed yet. And those 33 days changed everything. If you want to start your own transformation, if you want the same structure Jessica used to go from $60,000 in debt to complete financial freedom, the 33 Days Manifestation Journal is waiting for you. It's not just a journal. It's your sacred space for the next 33 days. A place to practice gratitude, set clear intentions, and open yourself to miracles. Because manifestation isn't about wishing. It's about becoming. And when you become the person who is abundant, the universe has no choice but to match that frequency. The link is pinned in the comments. Start today. Start right now. Your future self, the one who is free, abundant, and at peace, is waiting for you to take the first step. Jessica took that step 1 year ago. And it changed her entire life. Now it's your turn.